What's up, guys? Pixels to Life here, and it is episode 3 of Ctrl+Z, the best podcast to listen to while you design. And today we've got two special guests with us, Keira Arts.
Hello.
And Obey Patrial.
How's it going, guys?
Who, until just recently, I thought was Obey Partial, and then corrected me. I'm a failure.
Obey Partial.
You know, actually, I got my name from Partial. Kind of. And I just spelt it wrong. So.
Well, I mean, that's how my brother got his online name. He spelt.
Yeah, I was typing it in, and I just kind of like, oh, Patrial. Hey, that's cool. And then I just kind of went with it. So.
You know, this actually may be somewhat of an anticlimactic topic, but maybe we should discuss how we all came up with our names.
We can do that. I mean, my brother did the same thing as you, Patty. He was typing in on his WoW account. He tried to spell contrast, and he spelled contest. Forgot the R.
Actually, before we hop into that, I just wanted to say real quick, Evan will be on the show next week, most likely, but he is sick this evening, so thoughts go out to him and hope he feels better, but I just wanted to let everyone know that he was sick, and that's why he's not here tonight.
We love Evan. We love Evan.
We love him.
He's the real bay of this community.
Oh, yes.
So, Kiera, let's lead off with your how you got your name story.
So, usually when I need a name, I usually go to a list of Latin words, because usually there's some cool stuff there. I saw the word Kiera, so this is perfect. My girlfriend told me that it was a girl's name, but I didn't believe her. 3 videos in, I get comments asking, "Are you a girl?" And I start to realize my deep mistake.
It is somewhat feminine, but that's okay.
Honestly, I think 3,000 of my subs are just because of that name.
There you go, man.
Hey, never works.
Yeah, dude, you gotta just work with what you get, you know?
Just need to change the thumbnail now to like...
Does it have like a special meaning?
Yeah, does Kiera mean anything, or is it just a...
Yeah.
It's just the closest thing to my name. My real name, which is Patrial.
What does it mean? Does it mean something in Latin? You said you...
I don't even remember now. Could mean tomato for all I know.
Yeah.
This is the anticlimactic part, guys.
Choose the effect.
Here's the effect.
And so Patrial, you said your name was actually a spelling error.
There's an edit, and it's actually based off a song, which is John No Patrial, or I think it's Patrial, maybe it's Partial, I don't know. But there's an edit to it, and I found it, and it was like my favorite edit, because I used to be an editor. I used to try to be an editor, I should say. And I really liked the edit. I thought it was so cool. And when I gave up on editing because my After Effects was like messing up all the time, I decided to go back to designing, and that was just the name I picked. I was Partial, actually. I typed it in wrong, typing too fast or whatever, and next thing I know, I added Patreon. I just liked it, and kind of just from there.
Nice.
Gotta keep it classy.
Mine's a weird, weird one. I originally was, this was like 2009, 2010, so 4 or 5 years ago. I did a lot of forum signatures, a lot of on game battles. There was a column that at the time they were called SIGs is what they call them, but they're just signatures to logos. That's kind of how I got my start in the whole design thing. But about 5 years ago, I ran under the name. It was Nex, Nexxx, and I never really stuck with anything. I was always changing it. I couldn't find something that suited myself. So one day, somebody, I don't know what it was. Like the word "rated" is like, I saw it in I think I was reading something, and they were talking about how in sentence. I think honestly, it came up in like a sentence being a paradox, and I thought it would be kind of cool to use the word rated as, I'm rated instead of underrated. Like, kind of, I mean, not to be cocky, but it was like, it's a paradox. What?
Think your own kid.
No, it was really just more of like, because back in that time, I was a competitive player, and I didn't really snipe much anymore. I really wasn't this graphic designer, so like I just kind of had this, I wanted something funny, and then I realized that meaning is horrible, and I should never do that. So then I changed it back to something. I think it was Arsenal at the time. I liked the word Arsenal, like you're a full Arsenal. And then somebody with the name, I found out somebody had the exact same name as me, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. So this was 5-6 years ago. I basically just said, you know what? I really like the name Rated. I like the way it looks. I like it. And I literally just changed my gamer tag and my alias on Twitter and all my social networks, Behance, to Rated. And then somebody funny.
I started off YouTube. There was actually a huge Facebook group called Rated something.
Yeah, no, it's funny because
I thought you were like an affiliate of them. Like, whoa,
yeah, and it's really funny because a lot of people, it's crazy because like, a lot of people, I didn't realize, there was an optic Rated in this community. I didn't realize that was, we were on two completely opposite sides, and the name Rated really was given to me by a friend. Like, he always used to tell me, because he was like, at the time, somebody I looked up to in design and stuff like that, and he was like, "You're underrated. You're underrated." And I never thought I was underrated. Still to this day, I don't find myself special and anything. I just design. I do it because I love it. And
just a GFXer in the wild.
I'm just a GFXer in the wild, and he was like, you're underrated. So I was like, all right, let's do a paradox. So I called myself Rated. And that's kind of like, it was a paradoxal type thing, and it's just stuck. I mean, every other name I've seen, since that time, it just wouldn't fit me. Like, Rated's become something that is more than just it's a name. It's like
a prophecy.
You made yourself a brand.
It's really, it is a brand. Like, it's more than just, the name.
That almost makes my buying even more hilarious.
Oh no.
That you made your name Rated, as in not underrated.
Right, overrated, right.
That I called you overrated.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
No, I mean, it really wasn't, in all honesty, like, it had absolutely nothing to do with, like, me being, cocky or whatever it is. It really just was, let's make a paradox.
Yeah, it makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
For sure. I'm just realizing that all of my co-hosts here are on some pretty large teams, especially of late, with Rated and Kiera both in Revise, I believe.
Yes.
Is it Revise?
Yeah.
I'm leading.
Yep, and Kiera's one of the co-leads.
Leader.
Yep, and Patrial and Obey and Rated just recently got into Soar, and Keira just recently got into Gamer GFX. Like, we're dealing with noners here, folks.
Now, honestly, I don't
love your pants before it gets too late.
I don't think, and this is going to completely go off to another tangent, which I'm completely fine with, but I don't think teams really, decipher how good a designer is. I think, take.
Oh, dude, man, teams are only good for to like pick up a few clients. Like,
right? Yeah, I think it's more of like
judge a person based on the team they're on.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Like you look at Evan, and you look at him. Evan Eckert is to be honest, the biggest designer in this YouTube community, in this little world we have, that we know of.
Yeah.
And he's solo. He does his own thing. You know what I mean? And
This is a pro.
And it just shows that, like, and there's so many other guys out there that I do have to say that literally are even in just small organizations or small design corporations, teams, whatever you want to call them.
Especially, it's terrible when people treat someone from a lower clan assuming that they're bad.
Right, and there's some of those guys are better than some of the other people, and you know, there's really no being better or worse. I think it's just like they have the same amount of talent as some of the guys higher up in the, I guess, the little pyramid we have.
All teams are just really a connection of friends.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's why I mostly got an obey is because like it not only. I mean, I looked up to the I like the team in general, like as a COD team. I really liked them as a team, but at the same time, it was like Rated, Ruby, and Composited, some like my closest friends in the community, and that's why I got in. Like, I was so determined to join Obey, and it's continued to stay that way with Strat and Reno joining, and obviously all our recruits the other day with Alex, Nez, and Craze. They're all great guys and great designers, and that's what I think people need. Like, as we're saying with people being in smaller clans or smaller teams or whatever, just because they're in smaller teams doesn't mean they're not good, or just because you're in a big team doesn't mean you're the best. It's for the most part, like, yeah, typically if you're in a bigger team, you're typically a better designer to some extent, or you just had more luck with friends or whatever. But I think for at least with me, is I care most about like the creative part of it. Like, I'm not gonna say I'm the best designer because I know for a fact I'm not. I just try to like be creative at all times, and I think that's what kind of stands you out the most.
Some people do their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I like. It's just like, if you do whatever you do, what makes you happy, but like my thing is be creative and stand out. Do something that makes you original.
Yeah.
And what's also curious, when people say that you only got into a team because of your friends, that also applies to like in the real world. Because in the real world, you need to have networking in order to get a job even.
It's all about,
Exactly.
It is.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I think there's an issue if somebody gets into a team and they don't have the talent to be on the team, whatever that means. I mean, you know, I wouldn't like to see somebody who just started out in design get on Obey, right, or a big team like that just because they're friends with one of the leaders. I don't think that would be right, but...
No, yeah, I mean, I worked for months. You know, I've been close with Radio for a while now, and even when he was like lead and had the most potential to pick me up, that's one other thing I liked is like I had to earn it, you know?
Yeah.
I did so much work to get in, and when you finally get in, all the work does pay off, and it helps a lot. I mean, I've grown so much being in Obey. Like Kiera said earlier, so many more customers. Yeah, I mean, it's weird how it works. Like, it shouldn't work that way, where just because I have 4 extra letters in my name, it doesn't mean I'm a better person.
But it's like a company promoting you, basically. That's what the name is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, but from my experience, you know, outside the whole YouTube design, it really is who you know. I mean, in honesty, I mean, as horrible as it's not even really a bad thing to say. It's just like, you know, if you... It's
you have
like,
a friend out there.
Right, you have a friend who knows another guy...
People you up into that company.
Right.
And you're working for them. It's because of that one person. Right.
It's kind of, you know, there is aid and there is help, but I think a lot of it is deserving. You know, if you try, you know, hard enough to get to that area, if your work shows it.
Really, it makes a bowl. I mean... From what I've noticed and like what we just talked about is it really is like, I mean, yeah, if you're talented and you work your butt off and you're creative, you know, you'll obviously get somewhere. But the fact that if you know someone, like say it's like one of the studio directors or whatever, someone in the company already, the chances of you getting in that company as someone who may be a better designer but doesn't know anyone is greater, just because they know they have chemistry with you and they know that they can work well with you, you know?
Yep. Yeah, I've mostly avoided teams throughout my design career till recently when I joined Team Caliber. But it just, I don't know, it never had appeal to me before. I just didn't understand what exactly the benefits were.
Right.
But, you know, being on Team Caliber, even... we're somewhat of a smaller team or a lesser known team, if you will, and it has helped. It has helped a little bit with some subscribers here and there, but I wouldn't really say client-wise, but it
And
has
that's more
helped.
for growth too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the cool thing with Team Caliber is, I don't think, at least with competitive gaming, I don't think competitive gaming is ending anytime soon. If anything, I think it's just growing.
Oh yeah,
Whereas,
it's gonna blow past. That's a whole other conversation to itself.
Yeah, but whereas like COD gaming, I think it's ending. It's coming to an end. In my opinion, I think no more than 3 years is even pushing it. I think with like COD trick shotting and whatnot. Whereas TK in 3 years is going to be like what FaZe is now. In my opinion, they are one of the biggest competitive teams, and the fact that competitive is just growing and growing, and they've been doing well at the recent events is competitive is definitely a way to look for us designers, in my opinion, just because it's more professional, it's more of an organization, and it's more of it has a better future. I mean, it really does. It's a better way of
I
continually.
honestly think that designers are going to start dropping these teams because they're not getting the growth they need, and like teams like Gamer GFX are going to start popping up slowly.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I just
There's
think
only 50 like designers really that are in teams right now.
The difficult part about a company like Gamer GFX, and this is just based off speculation, but the difficulty in running a team like that is you have to be very professional with it, I guess is the word, because of profit sharing and stuff like that. You really gotta stay on the ball with that because that could go south pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, of course. I completely agree.
We've seen teams do that.
To be honest, I've said this in my videos. I've said this in other things. I come from a completely different time than a lot of other these designers. Like, I started at the right time. Like, I mean, like, if I would have started a little bit later, I wouldn't have, quote unquote, gained the following I have now. I mean, I am one lucky man, and I'll just tell you that I'm no different than anybody else. I just sit here and design, and I'm lucky enough to have people that like what I do.
You're at what, 48,000?
Pretty close.
He has more subscribers than I have video views.
Well, here the point is that I started at a very different time. When I started, it was 2010. Design was new to the YouTube community. There wasn't many people doing it back then. It was Strats. It was MDC, Alex Buckingham, or more known, also known as Robot. Apex Predator was around, but he had one channel that was like 10,000 subscribers, and another one that had 17,000. That was about it. Then
still amazing.
Still amazing for back then. 10,000 subscribers was like whoa. Then there was Marco Arts. Trooper, I can keep going on for a little. And these guys really what they did is they didn't do. They were either tutorial based or design speed art, that type based. They really, and Marco was more of the speed art. Same thing with Apex and that type of stuff. And that was new, and it was something that a lot of guys wanted to get into. So you had people like that, and the growth was exponential. If you had something going, you blew up. And it wasn't something like what it is now. And also another big thing which brings me into teams is that design teams were a huge thing. Back then was Abstract Graffiti, Epic Graphics Time, or GFX Time. There's a few other teams, Fear Arts. Some of these design teams that I was a part of. And that was a big thing. And that was like, designers came from all over just to watch Abstract Graffiti, and that's what I think is. I think there's going to be some sort of evolution where it's all going to turn around back into a circle. I can see it because Fractal's a big thing, Revise is a great thing, and you see it and you look at it through the way my eyes. It's just reverse. It's just reversing itself. Competitive was big back when I was there, and now it's kind of making its transition. It went from nothing to now it's like a huge thing again. And sniping kind of went downhill. And it's the same thing with design teams. Design teams were huge back then. Then they kind of just fizzled out. And then now look at it again.
Growth coming back. I do see that growth coming back.
And I'm a very big believer in that evolution factor. Where what goes it just completely, it's a cycle, goes over and over and over. But I'm not saying it'll be the same. It might be a little different. There might be certain things that, of course, we're going to have to get used to. But I'm a very firm believer that it will, completely restate itself.
Here's my thoughts on the comeback of design on YouTube. I think that somebody, an innovative idea that somewhat replaces the speed art or puts a spin on it to make it something new, and then that is what is going to tackle over again, right? Whenever designers have something new that people want to see. Exactly.
I mean, who saw, we can all say whatever, but Squins, when he came up with...
Are you guys lagging? I hear a little bit of a lag right now. Hello? Can we hear people? Hello?
Zach?
Yo.
Okay.
So, like I was saying, with Squins and with Throsty, that came out of nowhere, and it was such a big hit, and then all the variations that have come up with that, like obviously Nitro Blast and all these different things, and it really is just something small like that comes out of nowhere that can, these COD character banners even, as much as some people don't like them or do like them, they have really changed the design community. And when I got in, it was, I'll call it the baby boom of GFX, because there was so many people entering the community at once. It was almost over flooded. It got to the point where it was almost, like I said, over flooded, and it was too many designers, and some of us who stuck it out, and luckily I did, and it's been like a year and a half now. And
when did you guys join Keira and Patrial?
I think actually my channel just described exactly what Patrial went through. Low poly got very popular. I released one tutorial and a couple speed arts, and boom.
Yeah, and that's in all honesty, that's what it is. Like, it's really nowadays. It's like, people. The learning curve nowadays is people really want to learn. They don't really care how you do it. They just want to know. Or like, shall I say? Let me rephrase that. When they watch a speed art, they want to know how you do it. They don't care what you did. They just want to know how it's done. Like, the final product means nothing to them. If it looks cool, cool. But they really just want to know, hey, this guy made a ship into a exploding plane. How the hell did he do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was actually what gave me my break, I would say, is I did the same thing everyone else did, and I was not creative, and I wasn't really doing anything special, and I was in, Astral or something when they first started, 5,000 subs, and we were terrible designers in there and whatnot. Obviously I thought I was amazing and the next, big designer, but I just got lucky one day, and I was messing around with effects in Cinema 4D, and I found the plane effector, where you can take the Nitro Blast and make it look like it's basically drawn from a part, and that turned into a style that I did, and it was terrible when I first did it, but the effect was really cool, and the banners I made were garbage, but the effect was cool, and that's something that, Wiz at the time would have, only 5,000, but he was growing. He used it, and a lot of people that were a lot bigger than me started using that thing, and, luckily they gave me credit for it, finding it, and I appreciate them for it, because it obviously helped me get my big break. But just like Kiera said, it's something so small, and just one little thing that we did on our channel that just kind of sparked us and helped us get to where we are,
Yeah,
if it wasn't for that isometric little boom, I would not even be here.
I remember whenever I tweeted out a while back to get people's portfolios for reviews that I was doing on my channel, and Kiera had sent in his portfolio for me to look at, and I was super impressed with the low poly stuff. I think I haven't really seen.
I think to be honest, the coolest things I've seen lately, Kiera's stuff is just mind. I don't understand how to model. I don't get it. Cinema 4D, it's
it's a foreign language.
It's a foreign language to me. It really.
when I see your 2D banners, I just look at it for like 10 minutes trying to figure out how I would do it.
Right.
And
It's funny because, like, you know, being in school, I talk to 3D designers all the time, and they're like sitting here and they run circles around me in Cinema 4D, and they run circles around me in 3ds Max, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And part of the reason is because when I started, I taught myself the basics. You know how to make a shape, you know how to make, to control, to get a cool Lightroom going, and to control, to get yourself a good looking 3D text. But like then you go into like, I see you and you can like make shapes out of shapes and put things inside. I'm like, I don't know how that's
done. I looked up fluid animations recently. I didn't know Cinema 4D could even do that.
Yeah, and there's like...
It's crazy. I was watching the other day because I was trying to, like you guys, I'm trying to get better at my Cinema 4D, my 3D work, and just came across a guy and he's building a whole like street bike in Cinema 4D. Like it's nothing for me. Like, oh, you just take this and you put it over there. This is fun.
Yeah, we have one of those kids in the Revise. He built his own sport car and put it in a real environment.
Yeah, no, I saw that at school. That's crazy. I've seen that. That is by far one of the coolest things.
The ZBrush, like what that Shiffy does, and I think there was a guy in Dare that did it with the P.
Ali, Muhammad, yeah.
Muhammad, yeah. Smokey Crasher.
Sure, yeah, I don't remember his name, but anyways, and like the ZBrush is insane. I think the ZBrush is just like the coolest thing. It's so like cool to watch these people like create like creatures in these big 3D. For being a graphic designer, I am the least artistic person in the world. I have like polio in the hand or something because I can't draw like straight lines to save my life even, and I don't know how I do half the stuff I do because
I think and we brought this up last podcast, the last episode we did this. Me, Pixel, and Evan were talking about there really is a difference between illustration and graphic design. They're two completely separate things.
Yeah.
And even in schools, they are separated. It's two different things. You either go into illustration or you go into graphic design. They do correlate and they do completely play off each other very well, but they're two different things. So, like, a lot of people will ask, hey, can you draw that? I'm like, well, yeah, but it's not going to be as good as, like, that. That's not really what I do, you know?
It'll take a couple days.
Right, it'll take a couple days, you know? And then whereas Evan can, sit down, draw that in 30 minutes, and it's going to look amazing.
Evan makes me mad sometimes. In this speeder, he just does it.
It
would take a good year to think out of it. Yeah.
He's extremely talented with that drawing. It is unreal, and that's the thing. That's the thing that Pixel was saying. I think you're saying something about web design.
Yeah,
it's a completely they're completely different ball games.
Yep.
And
it's real funny because Kiera, he could do the 3D stuff, and I have no clue what I'm doing in 3D, and I do web design and programming, and I'm sure there's other people out there that are like, what are you, a sorcerer or something? Like, it's really funny how us as designers or generally creative people, we can do some things, but then other things are like, no, I'll take class.
It's crazy. I mean, it's still to this day. Some of that stuff blows my mind. I don't who was the dude, and this is, if you remember this will be pretty crazy. Who was the one that modeled Terminal?
Someone Terminal?
Yes.
Oh, that was me. I'll take credit for it.
Yeah, it was not.
Take it and go. Take it.
No, it was somebody in Dare Arts. I don't remember who, but I remember watching that, and still to this day, I have absolutely no idea how he started that and how he got through the whole process. And honestly, it'd be very interesting for him to sit down and kind of walk through what he did. I mean, I'm sure, Kiera, you would know it. It's all in Cinema 4D, but it was uploaded on sniping channels. It was ridiculous. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen because it was just it literally was like architecture. Like, you have to really draw out what you're doing. Something in his mind clicked where he could just do it, and it was crazy. I was on
my thing with like that is I took an AutoCAD class throughout high school, and like I did a lot of like architecture and stuff like that, and I have built like buildings and stuff, and I can do that kind of stuff. It's just so I don't have the I'm too like hyper, and I can't sit still for that long.
Yeah.
And I don't like to start on something and then come back to it. I like to sit down and like just bust it out. And in class it was different because like we had to come back to like some of our things when we were building houses,
Right.
parks. But I'm confident in myself. I can do a decent job, like say a modeling, like a terminal. Let's say, for instance, if you just brought that up.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'd be like amazing, but I think I could. But I don't know. It's just
4D is it's a game you play. It can be complete shit, but it all depends on the time you put into a project.
yeah, it really does.
Well, I think that's just.
I think materials are so key too, and like with Kiera, you're like you have like perfected your isometric with your lighting and materials, and it just goes so well together. And I think that's like it has to be one of the most important, in my opinion, one of the most important things is just the lighting, the material, and just making sure. And that's a lot of time spent in getting all that perfected. But it really does.
As it sounds, I think all three of my isometric pieces are complete trash, personally.
I see. And that's funny, and that's a good topic we should talk about right now.
You're always your own worst critic.
I feel, and that's what I was going to say is I don't know if it's the same with you guys, and Kiera pretty much proved my point. Everything I design, I feel like I can do better, or I don't like it.
Yeah.
No matter how much another person loves it, like, oh, this is amazing, this is the coolest thing you've ever seen. I'm never satisfied with it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's just like whenever I started this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to get a logo. I wanted to get a logo for it, and I tried for about 3 hours to come up with something that I liked, and I was like, you know what, screw it, I'm outsourcing it. I can't. I literally can't make stuff for myself.
Yeah, and that's
the same thing.
I
tried to make a logo for myself, and it was trash. I could not make anything that I liked. And then someone made something that I had almost made exactly the same for myself, but when they made it, I loved it. It was like, oh my god, this is great. I want it. That's it. That's what I'm using.
Yeah.
Like there's less pressure on you, and you just can accept it rather than just putting all this pressure back on yourself.
Yeah, it's like designing.
Go for it. Sorry, Ray. I keep cutting you off.
Oh, you're fine. But no, designing for yourself is so much more. You know,
worst.
It's hard because the thing is that when you look at your own design, you know, you have something in your head that just kind of tells you like it needs to be better than anything else I've done. Because it's got to showcase, you know, oh, this is rated, holy shit, you know, or this is Kiera, oh my god, you know, like it's gotta, you know, showcase what you.
Once every 8 months, huh? Why do you think I upload once every 8 months?
Well, no, it's got to really showcase something that you feel, you express, whatever, you know, in that situation. But it's just a hard thing to do just because you're always every click you make, every point you do, every line you literally draw, anything you model, whatever it is, you're judging each and every little thing instead of, oh, I'm designing this for another person, you know, I'm sure he'll like this looks good, because you're not thinking about it. I don't know what it is, but it's hard.
I literally just had this like moments ago. I was making a banner for an editor in Fractal, and he wanted one of my old character, like, decay kind of banners that I used to do, and which I have no problem doing. I don't like to upload those because I don't like re-uploading. I feel like I'm re-uploading it with the same style over and over again. But anyways, when I finished it, I was like, man, these aren't as good anymore, and I was not a fan of them. Like, I'll make them because obviously it's a customer or whatever, but I send it to him, and he's like, oh my god, this is so awesome, blah, 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 blah. I'm so, like you said, we're so critical on ourselves, and to me, it's just like, once I've seen or done something like 4 or 5 times, I just done with it. I can't do it anymore. I feel like it's been overplayed and overdone. Because I feel like that's kind of how I've built my name, is by continually trying to push my envelope and trying to do something that I'm not used to or that I haven't done before. And so when I do the same thing like over and over again, like with this banner I just did, I hate it. I hate the banner.
Oh, dude. For a while, that's... I mean, right now I'm actually kind of in that same mode right now. Everyone's kind of seen, well, if you haven't, the little shape clusters I've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're so sexy.
I am so burnt out of making them.
I'm telling you, make a brush pack of those, and you will
Make a brush pack and sell it. For like
make so much.
I feel like I should, but here's the problem, and here's the problem. I am so burnt out of making them. I mean, the good thing is. The good thing is,
make a couple models in Cinema 40, and I'll make all of those.
it's like designing the same thing over and over and over. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but after the first 4 or 5 I did, I was like, okay, this needs to stop. Like,
but then people ask for them so much, and you feel like,
oh my god, that's all people ask for.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I ran into. That's kind of like Kiera said, like he only upload like every few months, and that's kind of what I've gotten to too. Is like I only want to upload like once a month now because I don't even want to upload the same thing twice.
Once a month is cute.
Well, that's what I think is very key. Is when you do upload a design or something, just period on Behance, on YouTube, on Twitter. You want a lot of people just upload to upload. Hey, here's whatever I designed it by. You can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way sometimes. Like, I'm just like, here, take this design. Like, I don't really care, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's cool because, sometimes they will come out really well and people really won't catch, like, he really didn't try very hard on this. But you always have to display your best work. And it's only, you can't really display, like, if you display your mediocre work in comparison to your good work, it's like, oh, well, he's not very consistent. He's not that person's not very, he does really good work and then he has some sloppy work. Like, you want to give the impression that you're always on top of your game.
And see, that's the one thing that, like, makes me so jealous about someone like Evan Eckert, for instance. Like, he uploads almost like every single day of like quick, like what is it called? Quick arts of like he does like scanners, like video covers or
but see,
and they're always amazing and it's crazy. But then on like the flip side, you have someone like Alexander Kasparov who only uploads every few months, but these crazy manipulations that I don't do manipulations, so I can't say they're good or not. But to me, they're mind blowing.
Oh yeah,
he only uploads once every few months, and so you kind of have like the good and the bad because you look forward to seeing like these once in a month. Or once every few months, uploads from like someone like Alexander Kasparov or Kiera, who has some big projects that come out that are amazing. But then also someone who Evan Eckert and you rated, who can come out with stuff almost every day, and it's always up to like your standards and that's like to your name that like people can look forward to seeing on a daily basis. Which is, they both have their pros and cons, but it's really interesting to see like the.
Yeah.
To me, it's really cool.
There's really no good or bad to it. I don't know. I think.
Well, I mean, like what you were saying with like the say if you upload every day, then the chances are you're uploading, the same similar style.
Right. You want to make sure that every upload or just anything you put up.
Yeah, it's harder to stay creative when you're uploading every day, but when you're not uploading for say 2 months at a time, like the Alexander Kasparov or Kiera, you could lose like some of the people who are following you. Or
but I mean.
You also have the people who look forward to these big projects.
I think that's what a lot. I think, and I'm sorry for cutting you off, but I think with a lot of people, or shall I say, graphic designers in the sniping Call of Duty community, really don't realize, in comparison to these quote unquote Call of Duty commentators, snipers, whatever it is that YouTube for designers. It's not the same thing. It's just another site where you can promote your work. That's really all it is.
I was telling somebody earlier that I don't really hit YouTube very hard because it's more of an advertising platform for me than it is, something that I want to do for a living or anything like that.
Right. And there's this thing that every designer has. When you're recording, it's much more different than actually just designing something.
It really is. When I'm designing, like throughout the day, I can design, play some Xbox for a little bit, leave the design open, come back to it, eat some food, come back to it, whatever. But I feel like if I'm doing a speed art, all I have to do is like sit down and do the design, and then my head's not fresh when I come back to the design to keep being creative. With
Yeah.
it. And I just go through emotions. Or all right, here's this, then add this, and then do that. Okay, it's done. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like, I just drew a candle logo that I was never been able to do while I was recording.
Yeah, I always feel my best work when I'm not recording.
Pixels is giggling over there over my problems. Here.
Your computer really took a dump on you earlier.
Man, 3 times. It's gonna do it again. I just know it.
We actually discussed that last week. What was the most frustrating program failure that you've ever had?
Oh yeah. Yes.
I woke up this morning to all my Adobe programs corrupted. You tell me what's bad. I almost shat myself. I lost all my pattern packs, and I was building those up for years now.
Yeah, it's never good to corrupted files and stuff like that. I don't know. For me, I thank God Photoshop has this new cloud recovery type thing where it's like, you can, your computer could blow up and you're fine. It'll recover it.
I don't think the whole blowing up is true.
Well, you know what I mean. It could literally just shut off from whatever.
No, yeah. And this is a problem I've been having. And I don't know if it's because my Photoshop is just starting to get down. But if I have Photoshop open for too long, and say if I leave it to come back to it or whatever, if I try and pen tool to make a selection out of the pen tool or whatever, once I press make selection, nothing happens.
Yeah, that's I've been asked about that a few times. Some people are like, you getting that bug? And honestly, I don't have that bug because I have Creative Cloud.
Well, see, I don't know and I go to use my brush, right? I try and draw with my brush.
Right.
And I use a drawing pad for my signatures and whatnot that I do in some fonts that I make. But and then my drawing pad won't be either it won't be pressure sensitive or it won't be or it just won't draw even sometimes.
Oh yeah, you would be a good one to talk to Evan about that. He was talking about that last episode about how the pressure just goes out sometimes, and he found that you have to use Manga Studio now instead of Photoshop because it just
Manga Studio, but it's only for the Apple, and I don't have an Apple. It's so sad.
Honestly, you want an Apple computer, but once you get an Apple computer, you want a Windows computer, and it just goes back and forth.
No, that'd be a good thing. Question:
Absolutely. If anyone wants to buy Patrial's graphics computer,
autograph
it too, and send me an email, and I will give it to you for dirt cheap because this thing is a piece of crap. But it's mine, and I'm famous apparently, so.
No,
formula himself.
Dude, seriously, Skype chats with Obey formula. Adding there's things members added, dude. It's fake. You so known.
Real phase.
No. All right. Now here's a question, because this is something that graphic designers and I think just people in general have been arguing over for. I think it's fair to say 10, 15 years. As a designer, do you prefer Mac or PC?
Mac, any day.
Now, why?
Well, for me, I just like Macs better. I feel like Macs are more creative. I think the creative aspect with for instance, just GarageBand and different the applications like that. I really enjoy. I just like the whole feeling of I had a Mac laptop before, and I like.
Well, I'm talking more on a design approach.
I know. I'll get to that. I just to me it was easier to use. The shortcuts were easier. There's a lot more shortcuts, and I don't know. To me, I liked it better. I didn't ever have problems with it. My HP gets really hot when I'm designing, and I actually have to put it on this special thing to keep the bottom of it cool.
Mm-hmm.
And this
because you put flame stickers on it. Come on, just take them off.
I do have flame stickers. Dude, they were built in. But this computer was this Mac. Or not this Mac. My PC was actually meant for designing. From HP, a designer, special. I don't know. They have their graphics card and other shenanigans in it. But on my Mac that I had. It wasn't. It was just a regular stock Mac. Had nothing upgraded to it. And designing, and it was so much smoother.
My MacBook Pro lasted me 4 years of power.
Yeah, my Mac was.
Alienware sounds like it has airplane jets built into it.
So Kiera, Kiera, you're a Mac as well, right?
Yeah, but like I need the power of like Windows, like for what I'm like for what I do. Like I'm running V right now.
Okay, so you run you run like a parallel system to where you can run Windows on a Mac.
No, dude, it's like it's processing power. Like I need more of it.
But you can always upgrade that. That's the thing with Mac. You can still always upgrade your processing power.
Yeah.
And I know technically PCs are better because there's really no limit to PCs and how much power and all that you can add to them. But
I think, in all honesty,
video games and stuff, so I'm fine.
Yeah, in all honesty, when it comes to the design approach, my experience is always been I've been a Mac guy. Now the reason, I don't hate on like the because Evan I know is a PC and he will tell you PC is the way to go. But with a Mac, I think part of the reason I've adapted to it and I like it so much is because I learned on it. I learned on a Mac. I learned how to, the command key's always been my command key. It's never been a control key. You know what I mean? It's command.
Your environment.
It's just the environment I've always been in. Now, I've tried designing on PCs, and I will say that, there are better things to it. 3D processing on it, 10 times better on a PC.
Mm-hmm.
Editing and stuff like that, for video editing, 10 times better on a PC. Now, Mac, if you're going to go into graphic design, illustration, video editing, I would recommend it for any student, anybody who's just a designer. Just the reason is because I think Photoshop is just Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, After Effects, whatever you want to call it, Adobe itself. I think the applications, I think the outcome's better on a Mac, in my opinion.
I don't think the outcome is better. It's just like at this point, it's like where you're more comfortable with.
Yeah, I think it's more of a comfortable. Just in my opinion, my outputs and my finished products are much better on a Mac than on my PC, and that's just my opinion. Just because I don't know, it could just be screen resolution stuff. It could be very small things, but I mean I don't really know. I mean,
So.
Speaking of screen resolution, sorry, this might be off topic, but how big is your guys' screen? Do you guys prefer like a big screen for designing, a small screen, or like what? Like I don't know if that's really anything. I prefer like.
Well, we'll get to that. Pixel, I know. What do you run for? You're a PC, right?
Yeah, I run on PC, and honestly, my reason for not liking Mac may sound kind of ridiculous, but I cannot get used to not having a right click button.
They can fix that. You can add a right click.
Get a mouse.
It literally destroys me internally.
And that's actually one of the things that I've been told the most is people hate that you can't right click, and then I tell them, well, now that they have the Magic Mouse or the touchpad mouses, you can set a right click on it. So I have mine a right click all the time, but I do see what you're talking about, though. It's frustrating because I do know, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here. When you go from a PC to a Mac, it's a whole different ball game. It's like everything's right in your face, and it's like it's confusing.
Yeah.
How to minimize things is very different. The programs all look completely different, other than Photoshop. And it's a very different experience.
I have worked. I talked briefly on the last episode about my design work with my school newspaper.
Yes.
Whenever I was in high school, so I do have some experience with a Mac, and I don't know. Shit, I think I've worked with PC for so long, it would be hard for me to switch.
Right. So it comes down to more comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically.
Yeah. All right. And now Patrial's whole spiel on the screen resolution.
Spiel?
So...
Yeah, what do you guys like better? Do you guys like a big screen?
Personally, I like the bigger screen. Bigger screen is just more space to design on. It's easier to design on, in my opinion.
I mean, obviously you can zoom in more and you can see finer details.
Of course.
I feel like the bigger the screen is and the less mobile it is too. Like that's why I like my laptop so much. It's like if I want to, I can head downstairs and watch TV while I work on design something, or I can move my laptop to my bed, but I can't really deal with the desktop. But I want a desktop because it has a bigger screen. More of a computer.
Yeah. Kiera, what size screen do you guys all? I mean, my Mac is a 21-inch screen.
Mine's 17.5.
Okay.
I think.
I've got a 20-inch.
Okay.
I got so used to my 8-inch where it's like 15-inch, but I have this massive 22-inch next to me.
Oh, okay.
Just I have a small monitor. Doesn't mean you have to make fun of me, man.
and now, Kiera, what do you prefer?
I don't even know. I don't really have an option.
It kind of just.
As long as Photoshop is not corrupting on me at 8 a.m., I'm fine.
That's honestly, to be honest, that's fine. And I know a lot of designers like that too. But at school, it's all 24.5-inch MacBook or Mac desktops. We all work on those, and that's what it is. I mean, it's just weird. We do have PCs, but PCs are more 3D animation, game design. I mean, I don't know. It's personally the bigger the screen, the better, in my opinion. But I think that's kind of an argument that could go on.
How big the screen is, but like the quality, like the whatever screen they use for Macs, like the Retina, quality is so good on those. On the PCs, be trash.
Yeah. No, the Retina display. I mean, no one really can tell. Like, my computer's not a Retina. It's like it's from when I was 18, so it's about 5. Well, I was about to say 5. It's about 3 years ago. But it's an older Mac, but it's not an old one. It's a newer, older one, but it's not Retina display. And you wouldn't be able to tell the difference just because the Retina display, you have to be so close to it to really realize it.
Just like, if you compare your Alienware screen, my Alienware screen, to your MacBook Pro, MacBook will just look better and brighter.
MacBooks just look, in my opinion, it looks a lot cleaner just looking at them compared to.
But it's also no pressure on the designers who can't afford a MacBook because PC pull out the same job.
Yeah, I mean, I paid $600 for my laptop, whereas some people could pay the same for almost the exact same like specs as a Mac is $1,200, almost twice the price.
Right.
So
I've got a pretty funny story for some designers out there. Whenever I first started designing, I used a laptop, and I literally worked it so hard that the screen went out on it. So I went out and bought a monitor, and hooked it up to my laptop. Didn't bother buying a whole new computer. Just bought a monitor for my laptop.
Right.
And
worked off of the monitor using the laptop basically as like you would a PC.
Did you? Because my friend did almost the exact same thing. His monitor went out, so he basically just cut off the monitor off his laptop and used his laptop keyboard, and then bought a monitor and then hooked it up with the wire, super duct tape and putting wires together that obviously don't go together and all that. Retarded, right?
I didn't.
It was a setup, and he loved his computer, and he's like, I love it more than anything. But it was like a laptop body, I guess, with the keyboard and the number pads and the mouse pad, but he did it on a monitor, and it was ridiculous. It was the most ridiculous setup, but he loved it, and it was his favorite setup.
I didn't go so far as doing any major rewiring or anything like that, but I did. I did still use the keyboard for the laptop. I still use the laptop keyboard and just
plug your monitor in like a USB or something.
I just used a splitter.
Yeah, it's it's an adapter type thing.
Yeah.
Yes, my friend went the whole 9 yards and started cutting wires and stuff, and which I obviously wasn't needed. But
I used to my first ever my own computer was a MacBook, one of the original MacBooks. It was the white one. Still have it. It's a laptop, and I used to run Photoshop on that. I used to run Cinema 4D, and what I ended up doing is I ended up buying a monitor, and I ended up using a adapter to run my laptop to the monitor, and I swear, dude, my MacBook probably exploded a few times. I mean,
exactly.
I mean, it
Does
is
this talk about
so.
how, like, your thing explodes and your Photoshop still saves the thing? Is that like what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about the thing literally exploded. I mean, it was like the amount of times that thing crashed was just. I mean, I was running programs, and that was before I even knew that you needed heavy duty desktop for some of these rendering and stuff like that. I mean, that was back in my days of trying to figure out. That was before I was a lead GFXer.
You guys ever had your laptop?
I think with Illustrator happened again.
Oh my gosh!
I can't
just quit.
That's the crazy word.
Just give it up for the night.
I need to make this teeth white. All I need to do. To the last fall.
I don't know if you guys were here or were listening to the podcast from last week, but I had a similar issue to what you're having right now, and I lost over 3 hours of work one time because I failed to save because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I learned from that mistake very quickly. So I save almost every 5-10 minutes now. Actually, I believe what you can do. My friend said you can do. I've never gone through with doing it, but apparently you can save an auto. You can put in an auto save feature on your Photoshop.
Yeah, you can.
10 minutes,
But it's really bad, and the reason is because if you make something and you don't want to save a PSD file for it, it'll automatically save a PSD file for it. So then you're just on your computer, you have files of just random stuff that you don't want to save. I mean, it just blows your computer. It's bad. Do not do that. They've got to. Yeah, no.
I think that's a speed up your computer. Mine's recently has decided to give up on me.
Well, if you go into your preferences, you can set a dedicated program, your primary program to be Photoshop or whatever. So when you open Photoshop, your initial memory goes straight to Photoshop rather than
just go to cleanmypc.com.
Yeah, that's the biggest scam in the world.
It's not. If you buy it, it's actually really good. But I have a Mac, so I have something called Clean My Mac 2, and it works great. Every few days, it gives me an update saying that I have 4 gigs of memory that doesn't need to be saved. Do you want to clean it? And I just hit yes, and it cleans it, and my computer runs perfectly.
Like you're going on a bidding sale. The equivalent of that is CC cleaner for a PC.
Yeah, it's just the only thing with those.
I've ever had multiple programs open, say Photoshop, Cinema 4D, After Effects, Skype, and iTunes, and all this.
Right, and then your computer explodes.
And then your computer starts going, and it sounds like trying to transform into Optimus Prime or something.
Listen, sometimes it just wants to be a fire truck. Just let it do its thing.
Dude,
Don't push its real.
mine's not being a fire truck. Mine's being a straight transformer. It is going crazy.
Yeah, I've had some weird noises out of my computer. I don't know. I mean, I remember one time it was this high pitched screaming noise that was annoying.
Yeah, your neighbors must have gotten really worried.
And then there was this a beeping, it was one of those monotone beeps, and it just goes for an hour. It was it was the most frustrating thing. So I just turned I ended up unplugging my computer for that one.
Yeah, and throwing it against the wall.
Try and punch your computer, but then that little part inside of you just stops yourself right before you make contact.
I used to be like that, but
I grabbed it and shook it at my face and wanted to shove my head through the screen.
Are you talking about rage quitting graphics right now?
Yeah, I am. I hardcore rage during graphics.
See, I used to be like that, and then I realized that the more upset I get, the worse. I mean, it's something I can't control. It's out of my control. So if my computer's not working, it's not working. Get over it. I mean,
No, get over it, dude. If I'm in the middle of a design and I need to make like a 90-degree angle, and I press my pin tool and I make a perfect 90-degree or 45-degree angle, and then I press make selection and it doesn't make a selection, oh, I flip. I go crazy. Oh, seriously. I mean, I know I could easily fix it just by making it.
wait, making a perfect 90-degree angle, dude. All you gotta do is hold shift.
45.
Oh, okay. I was about to say 90 degrees.
We're teaching you geometry now.
All you gotta do is hold shift.
But I mean, like to make like certain shapes, like for instance.
He was about the graphic slang we just now.
Okay, now here's a quick question for all, just because I'm sure people would probably be curious about this. What is a shortcut in Photoshop you know that you think that other people probably wouldn't know?
Well, here's the thing. There's a thing with that is you can make custom shortcuts.
Okay, a preset one.
So a preset.
Oh, I have this thing. If you press Ctrl+P on your keyboard, it automatically just leaves your Photoshop without saving. It's dangerously close to Ctrl+Z, Ctrl+C.
Oh god.
I have never done that before,
Yeah.
and if I ever do it again, if I ever do it, I'm blaming you.
You said you do.
Oh my god, Patty. No,
I
I think
no.
there's a shortcut. There's a shortcut. You guys might know it. What is the shortcut to change your brush size without opening your brush browser?
Brackets.
Seriously?
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever.
Oh, wait, brackets. Hold on.
Yeah, you just press your
The
bracket.
square brackets.
Yeah, the square ones, and it makes it bigger or smaller.
Wait, square brackets? Oh my! I didn't even know that.
I actually changed my my drawing pad. I changed because it has 4 buttons on it. So I made one undo, one new layer, one smaller my brush. Smaller my brush. That doesn't make sense.
That is
And
unreal.
Smaller, and once increase the size of my brush.
Yeah, no. I didn't know that. I just learned something.
Yeah, I just taught Elite GFX or how to GFX.
Do any of you guys know Nico
I can subscribe.
Santucci?
Now what?
Saying what, Tucci? What?
Nico Santucci. He's got 310,000 followers and just randomly followed me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
followers are so easy to bud. Like, I can get to like 10,000
We
followers.
have best friends, Zach. We hang out all the time.
You guys are killing me. No, that's I literally I did not know that brush thing. I always knew there was a shortcut to it because I've seen people do it, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's just your brackets, dog.
Jeez, noob.
Now I'm like playing with it. That's
You know,
freaking.
if you just press B, it goes right to your brushes, right? You know that one at least.
Well,
right?
yes, I knew that.
Okay, I'm just checking. You know, Control-T does your transform, right?
Oh, Jesus.
Well, first of all, that's Command T, and yes, I do.
Oh, whoa.
Oh,
Mr.
snap.
Technical over here.
Shut
Is
up.
Apple.
Alright, guys, that's the end of the podcast.
No.
We kill each other. No, but, I can't...
My pen looks like it's about to kill someone.
What's your guys' favorite, like, you guys, and this might just be something like, do you guys ever just, and I think we've said something in another podcast, but I'm curious to see, do you guys ever just, like, go out and, like, you know, driving and then you see a billboard and you know the font, or, like, you see, like, a sign and you just, like, oh, I know that font.
That, because I do that so often. I'll be looking at, like, designs or, like, movie posters, like, man, text isn't centered. Or I know that font, or this and that. I'm like, oh, you can see where he's, like, and I do that so, I hate myself for it, because right now, I have, like this motocross poster in my room, right? And you can tell the guy put a drop shadow on this monster logo, and it's so heavy and ugly, and it's just, I hate it. Looking at it pisses me off because it's so bad. It's so poorly done. And
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, you know, I remember talking to a few graphic designers that are actually out in the field, and they were saying that, you know, the new revolution of graphic design is our age group. It's the ones that are learning now. Is the reason is and you know, they can't keep professors up to date with these things because the way they learn to do things is completely different than the way that you do things now.
Way different.
And You know,
I'm only, like,
so
13,
these
but
young guys are coming right out of school and taking over these spots because, like, that's a great example with the whole monster posters. That was probably designed. I mean, if it's an actual official monster poster, which I don't really know, but hypothetically, if it is, it was probably designed by somebody that was in a different era of design.
No, it's a motocross poster, but the guy's sponsored by Monster Energy, so.
Right, so whoever the motor...
It's old. It's old. It's like, let's say, 7 years old.
That could be it, too. I mean, in 7
years...
years...
It could have been different styles, and that's what it was like back then. But just looking at that and looking at, like you said, around town and all this, and obviously every designer has their own style and whatnot, but sometimes I look at stuff and it's like, and I'm in Obey, not in whatever you're doing making millions of dollars for design. I'm just... So, congratulations to you, sir.
I'm not making $1 million of this. Oh my god.
Yeah. You heard it here first.
Oh man, you guys are...
Rated's taking you guys to the woodshed on the prices. Confirmed.
Truth is, you make millions of dollars.
Hey, Pixel, can you check chat for a sec?
Nope.
That's what's not nice.
Nope.
He was bullying me yesterday. He was calling me a wimp.
Alright, yeah, that'll be fine. Kira's gonna drop off for a minute, but, he presumably will be back. But if not, we appreciate it for him coming out.
Yes, it was awesome having you, dude.
I don't like you, Kiera. Just kidding. He said that. I feel so bad.
He bounced. Patty literally made him rage quit.
No, so if Kiera, whenever you watch this, we love you, man. Patty's
much love.
Patty's a little bit of a mean guy right now, but
he's a jerk.
He's a jerk, but no, no. So now we just got the three musketeers left.
3 musketeers.
Best friends that ain't anything ever. Okay, I'll stop.
I love that movie, by the way. I had a really good question that I was going to ask earlier, but now I've just completely bet through my whole train of thought.
I don't know. I mean, awesome.
I remember what I was going to say. So, whenever anybody... I used to be a recruiter whenever Yaush was around.
Oh, yeah, same here. But then I was back, like...
Yeah, you were one of the OG guys, if you will. But a question that almost everybody asked me whenever they were joining on, they asked, how do you get big on YouTube? Is essentially, long story short, what they would ask.
Yeah,
and
you're doing your God.
What I always told everybody, and this is coming from someone who's not that big on YouTube, keep in mind, but what I always told somebody is, one day you're going to be doing whatever it is that you do on YouTube, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's trolling or designing or gameplays or sniping, whatever you're going to do. You're going to be doing that, doing your thing, and somebody big is going to notice you, and they're going to shout you out or something to that effect, and that's going to be your break. That is going to be the thing that catapults you into success or relative success on YouTube. So I was wondering if you guys not only agree with that, but if you do, if it happened to you and what that...
It's actually funny to say that, because when I brought up earlier how I came up with that, not really came up with, but when I kind of introduced it to the community, the whole like the cave style I did, around the same time, I don't know if you guys are familiar with, well, obviously, but you guys know PewDiePie, at the end of his videos sometimes he has like fan art, right? And I've never made fan art for PewDiePie, but someone by the name of Patrial had made PewDiePie fan art, and he used it, right? And for some reason, that drove a lot of attention to my channel. People would search Patrial, and there's not many Patrial on YouTube. And so people, they saw the artwork, they saw that I was a designer, and people were like commenting on my videos like, "Sick work, you did for PewDiePie," and I never claimed it as like mine. But I was like, I went along with it. I never said it wasn't. Which, I mean, I guess, I don't know if that's... I just went along with it.
That is the coolest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is like the most haphazard thing.
I just went along with it.
No, actually, it's funny you say that. I really think I got my biggest shot or boost up was actually really not from anybody. No, it's because of the time I started.
No, yeah, honestly, like you were saying earlier, with the time that you came in, just the whole timing, all that,
it was perfect. You couldn't have put it better. It was perfect. When I joined YouTube, when I got into it, if I did it 2 months later, if I did it a month later, it would have been wrong. I did it at the right time.
And same with Allie. You and Allie, I think, were both around this. I mean,
no, Allie actually, it's funny. I started a year before Allie. Allie started on the uprise.
Like, you guys were so much before, like, I consider, like, I don't know if this makes sense, but you guys are, like, I would say, like, the older generation, even though you guys aren't, I mean, I'm almost the same age as you guys.
Well, don't worry, dude. I'm the, they call me, or Ruby and all them and Obey call me Papa Rated, so.
So, yeah, it's because you've been around on YouTube for a while, and that's,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's helped you build your name as compared to someone.
Well, and that's the thing is, back in those days, you really didn't have those big YouTubers shouting you out for designs. It was really like, oh, thanks for the banner, and you had your link in there, and that was really it.
Yeah, exactly.
And, that was really it. But at the time, the biggest guy I designed a YouTube banner for, and I guess if you really, or it was YouTube background. But
God, the golden days.
Those were the days, man. But, no, I think the biggest person I made it for at the time, and this is like, you're gonna laugh because none of you guys are gonna know what the hell it is, but it was somebody by the name of OG Walrus.
I know him.
I know him as well.
Well, I know Pixel does. I didn't think you would. And OG or Adam. I don't know where he is. Lost contact with him. I don't know anything about him anymore.
I think he recently just came back.
Yeah, I've lost all contact with him. I don't know where he is. I do. Guy was a great guy. Helped me out a lot. But randomly, just approached him with the Youch thing, and he really gave me the tools to become what it was. He never shouted me out. I mean, of course he gave me the hey, your designs are really good. I'd like you to bring you under Youch and stuff like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, everything I did was kind of, my own.
No, it's funny because, like, I remember being that, like, little... I mean, it really wasn't that long ago. I mean, I only joined Obey, 4 months ago, which, I mean, is kind of a while ago, and I wasn't really... had a name in this community until, like, 6-7 months ago. And I remember, and I'm sure Zach doesn't, but I used to, like, spam Zach every day. I was so, like, Zach was, like... Zach and Ali and like different people like that, and like Skybreaks were like some of my favorite people like to watch design. And I remember like I remember I had a fake rated added on Skype, right?
Right.
And somehow I got your real Skype, and I messaged you about him, and I think anyways, and so. You probably hated the hell out of me. I probably just spammed.
Honestly, dude, I don't even remember it, nor do I want to remember it.
But I used to spam you like every day banners, and I think I made like Agony something. And I was like, so am I good enough to join Obey? Obviously, I was crap. I was like, I haven't talked to Agony, and then like it was just funny because like I knew I was annoying the hell out of you because I know people do that to me today, but it's just like. I'm not saying people annoy me, but like the constant spams of, hey, can I join? Can I join? Can I join? And I used to do it all the time. You're like, oh, let me talk to Agony, and then like you never talk to me again.
I'm sure that happened, but
it's funny because at the time I was all offended, and I was like, oh, he just thinks he's cool. But it was like now that I think about it, now that I'm kind of in the same shoes, it's like I can totally. It's so funny to see how like I used to be that annoying little dude, and now I'm not saying I'm big either, but like I have a decent enough name to be. I'm in a big enough clan that like people know who I am, and it's just it's funny to like, and even people like Strat. When I first met Strat was in like. I don't even know what team he was in. He was god awful. C was in Bolt when I met him, and I think he's one of the best 2D designers in the community. I think his 2D is amazing, and it's just some of these people that like I met and watched them grow. It's I don't know. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, no, it's it's like it's kind of like deja vu. It's like you kind of.
It's weird because like you see yourself in their shoes. Like I think. Crude and I were talking to Cyrus the other day, because Cyrus is only like 14. He's doing pretty well, and he's like Darth right now or something. And Crude and I were talking about him. He's been really frustrated with people copying or doing similar styles to him. And I know for a fact Crude's really original, and I try to be as original as possible. I'm not going to claim stuff for myself. But when people do similar styles to you, it's annoying because whatever. But I just remember.
See, that's something.
I see a lot of you. And it's like now that we're talking about it too, it's like weird. We just had that same kind of conversation with Crude about how like we're seeing ourselves in other people.
Well, yeah, but see, I think it's very. I think a lot of people really don't realize something that similar stuff. What we're doing on here has been done for years.
That's why
has been done for years. It's nothing. It's nothing new. You're going to see the same style that I do on websites, probably. You'll probably see stuff all over the place that's very similar to what I do. You'll see the same thing that,
My stuff on websites is so unprofessional.
You want to know something, you might. Like posters. You'll see poster type stuff all over the place. And the reason is that it's because when, we see something and, you kind of, that's where you get your inspiration from. You don't...
Or not, we're visually inspired by something.
Yes, but the thing that people don't realize is that you can't, like, claim a style. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah. Nothing that anybody's doing right now is, like, I could say the vast majority, like,
no one created.
Nobody's doing anything that hasn't been done before.
Right. It's all learning. That's why I'm saying that's why I said in one of my live streams, and I mean, don't take this the wrong way, of course, but you need to copy to learn.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's funny you bring that up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, before people freak out when I say that, I don't think it's very copying identically what you're doing. I'm saying you have to recreate something.
And you have to take inspiration from.
You have to learn what you're doing. Now, if you're going to copy something identical, of course, don't sell that, and don't at all. I mean, you can't. That's like plagiarism.
Huge no.
No, when you bring it up, Rated, it's very I don't know how to say it's a new style, because it's something new that I have tried doing recently, kind of with like this 2D like hacked like. Tear. I don't even know how to explain it, but I got the idea. Actually, I was watching X Games, and I liked the look of the rally car. I like rally cars in general, but like I like rally car racing. But I was just actually looking at the actual design of them because, like we were talking about earlier, I just noticed designs everywhere and I hate it.
Right.
But I also love it because I looked at these cars and they have like cool designs on them. So I went on Google and I just searched up rally car graphic design, rally car, and I just ended up when I looked up as just like rally car designs, and I take ideas from those and I'm trying to implement. Because those people who design those are making mad money. They're obviously professional designers and whatnot. And so, like you said, you have to copy to become. You have to learn the techniques. You have to learn the style. You got to learn how to recreate something that is.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's there's not a right or wrong way to do it, but you need to take things that you see in the world and you need to implement them into design. I mean, that's just kind of how it is. With most of my inspiration, not many people know, but like my actual design that I like doing is very dark. It's has a feel to it, and the reason is because everything I feel is through my music, when I listen to something, when I see an album cover, when I see a design on a guitar, when I see something like that, it's like, oh, what if I tried to do something like that? And then I implement it into a design. And that's how a lot of my designs come through, my original work, shall I say, like all the stuff in my Behance and stuff like that. That's all comes out through stuff that I see in my head and sometimes in real life. But The Lost Island, which was my most recent, huge creation, was something that I did a long time ago that I saw in my head again, and I just was like, I want to redo it. I want to, try something new. I did a new Metallica album. If they were to ever come out with a new album, that's what when I was listening to newer music from them, which was, one of their newer songs, that's the vibe I felt out of it.
And I can attest to Zach's obsession with music, because literally no matter what we're talking about in a Skype call or whatnot, it always comes around to music eventually with him.
It's funny because I was talking about that with my stepmom earlier today, is how much like music influences like me in my life as well. Like what Zach was saying, like I just like listening to music while designing or listening to music while working or whatever I'm doing, it helps me work so much faster. My mind is so much clearer and I can think more.
Well, it's not even that. Like I remember we were talking about this last episode, and Pixel actually shockingly came up to me and he said that he can't listen to anything.
Yep.
And
do it.
Really,
he can't, and he needs complete silence, and I get that. And there are certain, situations where
I can't. I feel so closed.
But here's the problem.
Weird, but like almost alone, like feeling like kind of like a weird. I need something to like not distract me from the design, but something to keep it so I'm not like I said earlier. If I'm just doing a design, I feel like I'm just going through the motions. Where I've had something to kind of distract me along the way, then I feel like that whatever I create is better. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, but there are certain instances where I will need complete silence for what I'm doing because you're so focused and you get in that zone. You know what I mean? Of like I'm working on what I'm doing, and that is
the opposite. The more in the zone I am, the louder my music is usually.
Yeah, and see, that's just I guess it just kind of comes with people, but.
Yeah, exactly.
I will tell you that the designs I make, my more bright, vibrant techno stuff is from the music I listen to. Like lately I've been on this kick of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Sublime, really trippy sounding music, and a lot of it comes from that is because I kind of listen to it and it opens up this thing in my mind that I can't explain. It just opens up this whole new world to me.
Yeah, like with music especially, like I always tell my designs come out different depending on the genre of music I'm listening to. Exact same style, like do your character style. But if I'm listening to like recently I just got G-Eazy's new album that just came out. I'm a big G-Eazy fan, and I feel like my designs are more like smooth and kind of chill and kind of more like whatever. But then when I'm listening to like my Disturbed or I'm listening to Iron Maiden or whatever, then it's like that's when usually when I do like kind of more aggressive, like 2D, kind of grungy kind of feel rather than.
Who's back again?
Oh, there he is. He's back.
All right, time to make the podcast. Kiera's back. Let's go. Hey, Kiera, what's going on, dude? Missed you, dude.
What's going on?
Had to do business.
We were talking about music and how it influences our designs or whatnot. Do you listen to music while you design, or do you have like silence, or how does music influence your?
Oh yeah. So usually it's music from like the UML sets, but there's also this magical thing called podcasts, which is what we're doing right now.
Oh my podcast
Speeds
section!
up time, and then you just go into this auto mode. Works. Rooster Teeth, PKA.
And that is why we are the best podcast to listen to while you design.
Also, happy birthday, Pixels to Life.
Oh, yes, happy birthday, Pixels to Life.
Everyone, can we sing happy birthday real quick?
No.
Can we do that? Happy birthday.
Right, you can do I know it's right. Come on.
Zach, you were just talking about your love for music. Now you won't sing to me.
If I could play my guitar, I would.
Happy birthday, dear Pixels to Life.
Yes, this is our first ever Birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Let's see wrap up.
Thank you very much.
That was the saddest clap ever. That was like one-handed against the knee.
It was actually.
That was just disappointing.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I think that's a very big aspect in my situations and that. But you know,
Yeah, where you missed it, Kiera, we were talking about how I'm not able to design and listen to music at the same time.
Boy, you crazy.
I believe I'm the minority in that, probably.
You just sit there silently, just looking at your screen, talking
Yep.
at the screen.
I feel so
no, it's
lonely.
nah, it's not. I get it. That my buddies are a lot like that too. They have to just be in complete silence. It's like a focus type thing, and I get it. But yeah, I mean,
Can't do it.
music has to be flowing most of the time.
Yeah, so happy birthday. Is it your 13th or 14th? I don't remember.
It's 13 plus 14.
Well, you know, that was pretty good by me. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty proud of myself right there. If you really are turning 27. I don't think you're turning 27, but you might be. Are you
You're
actually?
like 45, 50, 60.
I am officially 27 years of age.
Dude, I am so gangster for guessing 13 plus 14, because that is... Dude, pat me on the back. And
I
call me
am.
back.
You know what's crazy? I am 6 years younger than you.
I'm only 19, so...
I think Evan and I are two of the oldest designers.
How old is Evan? Evan's got to be, I guess... I don't want to say it, never mind.
He's
I don't want to make him
30-something? 32?
I was going to say, what, 32? Because he has kids.
Wait,
right?
what is he?
So,
30 what?
I was going to guess 32. That was going to be my guess.
Isn't he like 35?
Well, if Evan wasn't sick, he can answer the question. So he's sick. Actually, yeah. I don't know. Evan makes me jealous. I can't.
It makes me cry at night.
Honestly, though, like we were kind of talking about earlier, but the character drawing, the monster drawing to do with his kids, like to have something. I mean, obviously his kids like don't have statistic as him, and they're just kind of like these goofy sketches, and he turns them into these crazy, like awesome, and it's just amazing. It really is. It's phenomenal to watch. I think it's like the coolest thing. And I'm over here. I can't even spell my name correctly, so I don't know.
Patrial. Partial.
Well, I think we'll end on Patrial's spelling blunder. I really appreciate you guys coming on, and again, we hope Evan feels better, and then he's back with us next week. And any last?
Well, on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank Keira and Patrial for tuning in with us.
Thank you very much. And if you guys actually,
I
enjoyed it a lot. So if you guys would like to see either Kiera or I or any other guest on it, because I know I thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you guys would like to see us, let us know. Contact us on Skype or Twitter or whatever your easiest way to get a hold of us is. And let us know, or let Pixel and Rated know more, because they actually run the thing. But let them know, like, it's us back. Tell them you want me back. Tell them! But if you'd like to see other people back, let them know, because it really is a pretty cool thing to bring other people onto this podcast. You guys got.
Yeah, it's been a good.
It's been an idea of me. It's been an idea of me, Pixel, and Evan been kind of thrown around, and I think we just. I enjoy it. I like doing it. It's fun.
Yeah. Great guys.
Good times.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Good times.
We will see you guys later, and again, make sure to leave any comments or anything really, any feedback you guys can give will be greatly appreciated, and we will see you guys next week. 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 And we will see you guys next